Did you see the smoke on his face? That's his mind. For some reason, he grew up. Every thought turns into a visible smoke, and the sounds that can be heard. He couldn't keep a secret from childhood. Right after, he accidentally had it with the priest. The slightest hint of doubt, it was heard. Then he was punched by the priest.
I'll show you.
The good news is that the priest never looked down on the boy. Didn't really care.
Oh, my face hurts. Keep your noise down.
The story takes place in 2257, a star a few light years from Earth. Every man who comes to this planet, you get a nudity for no apparent reason. Any thought will be exposed around the head. Thoughts can be heard as a voiceover, for everyone around you to know. No one can fathom why this is happening. Men live in a small town when they are young. The men here are prone to fight, because they're cocky and decent. Of all people, there's nothing to hide from anyone, and it's just a fist fight. But the boy is very clever. When someone came to mess with him, he'll think of a snake. His smoke will turn into a snake. It scares the hell out of them. It's smart to use the disease as an ability. The boy's skill was commended by the mayor. The weird thing is, in this town, the mayor is the only man who can control his thoughts. No one could hear what he was thinking. You may have noticed, there's not a woman in town. The mayor and the pastor say the aliens killed all the women, including the boy's mother. The boy was born here, but always with a strange feeling of suffocation. He feels like there's a connection. It should not have been so exposed, and they don't trust each other. He is the child of 2 farmers. Foster fathers are only good at their jobs, never answers any of his questions, so he wanted to look outside. On this very day, the boy saw a stranger. He hasn't seen a stranger in over 10 years. He pursued it with a subconscious fervor. Then they found the wreckage of a spaceship. What about people? It's gone. Normally, anyone who hides their thoughts will reveal themselves. What the hell is? The man couldn't even hear his thoughts. The boy went back to town. Tell everything to the mayor. The mayor came at once with an army of men. And tell everybody, the stranger is a woman. Everyone must catch her. The boy was in a state of apprehension. It turns out that a woman's mind is inaudible. Soon, the man on the horse found it. The strange girl. They conjured up a fence with their minds to get the girl up. The next, the smoke from the mayor's way through the fence. It turned out that this kind of thought smoke cannot hurt people, can only lie. The mayor made nice to the girl, brought her home. There was a flurry of greetings, and explained the nudity of men to her. He gained the girl's trust, and he learned her story. It turned out that she was following a huge colonial ship. There are thousands of people on board. She's a little scout. The mission is to land and explore the safety of the planet. Unexpectedly, the reconnaissance ship crashed. Team's all dead. She's the only one left. Even in the house, the girl can hear the noise outside. 2. It's all the noise of other men's minds. Slowly, in the noise of some people, she heard something strange. What to do with her? Do you want to kill? The girl looked up at the mayor. The man could not hear his thoughts at all. She knew this town would never last, while the mayor is out telling everyone to spread out. His son came in to play with her tools, accidentally detonated the EMP shock wave. She took advantage of the chaos and hid. Everyone thought she had run away from the back door. They're coming out. Girl hid under the floor. Heard it up there. The sordid thoughts of men. Some wanted to lock her up as a slave. Some people tried to take her over. The men of this town haven't seen a woman in over a decade. They have all kinds of horrible ideas, and the mayor's idea is the most insidious. He tried to use her to get the colonial ship. Take it. Take control, and then you can use powerful high-tech, capture all human bases on the planet, and become the king of the planet. The girl had that line in her heart. Men don't have a good thing. Except for the boy. Of course, when everyone wants to use a girl, only he had an idea in his mind. Is the most looked down upon boy, one of the best people in town. He wasn't part of the hunt, and went home alone, and when he got to the barn, the crying girl was found in the corner. Turns out she's hiding out here. Boys know girls are afraid of themselves, and my mind flashes back. A lot of not so friendly stuff. Boy heard his adoptive father calling him. He hurriedly invited himself out first. Decide what to do with it. He told 2 adoptive fathers about the girl. Adoptive father says, cannot stay. None of us can keep a secret. It was only a matter of time before she was found. If you're gonna help her, you have to take her to another town a few miles away. The boy never knew there were other towns on the planet, but he decided to go anyway. Take the girl and walk into the jungle. At first, the girl didn't believe him, but the boy used his mind. Turned out a map. This is the map his adoptive father showed him. It's in his memory. He saw it as soon as he remembered it. The noise of the bad men's minds approached. The girl knows she must depend on the boy in front of her. Had to go with him, and walked for a while. The boy's dog followed. To see the boy doting on the dog, the girl's a little relieved. Come to a river. They didn't eat. The boy said he would go fishing, and then they actually took it off. Hid him when he was little and never met a woman. There's no shame in it. It scares the girl. In the river, the boy found a big octopus. After a fight, he came up with a tentacle, and started barbecuing, and bake it. His thoughts were exposed. He took a tentative bite of the meat, and then his mind turned to a poisoned house of his own. Coughing and vomiting are very wolfish. The girl looked at his thoughts. She hasn't said so much in over 10 years. In the process of getting along, the girl found out. The boy, though, can't hide his little courtship thing.
Yellow hair. Pretty, very pretty. Please ignore that.
But overall it's not a bad person. When he sees the river, He will take the initiative to explore the road ahead, hold his dog and keep him from getting wet, accidentally fall down. He would scream in his head.
See that?
I saw that.
The lovely man. It was raining and the two men put up their tents to take shelter. The girl spoke passionately about her life story, talking about how she lived on a spaceship all her life, never seen rain, and then she said she lost her parents, and shed a tear. At this very moment, the boy began to fantasize. The girl smiled, got up with the boy, but the next second,
What are you doing?
shit, what he just fantasized about. Show the girl exactly what it is. It's a social death scene. The boy hurried off. Well, this mind exposure disease. It's too bad for a man. The next morning, the girl came to wake the boy, found him dreaming, his dream, like a 3D projector, on top of his head. It was a girl's face. Looks like she was dreaming about her. The girl had to wake the boy without seeing him. The two of them continued their journey, finally arrived at the destination. A strange town. The boy is a fool, because he saw so many women. Women can't even see or hear. Men, on the other hand, think like him, floating around his head, clear of everything. When the townspeople learn, the boy comes from that small town with only men. Everyone looked at him with hostility. It was not long before the boy learned the truth. Turns out, there was a massacre in his town. The men killed all the women, including the boy's mother. The boy who heard the truth. The panic was overwhelming. All these years, the haze of that small town, the foster father's silence, the priest's violence, the gap between people, because of the heinous crimes hidden. The jangling alarm pierced the sky. The men are coming. Everyone was holding a gun. The mob demanded that the town hand over the girl. A resident who tried to resist was shot dead on the spot. No one dared to resist. It wasn't long before the mob was swarming around a warehouse where boys and girls hide. The mayor called the boy's foster father, let him in and talk his son out. Foster dad said yes. He went in and talked to his son. He hasn't been able to tell him the cruel truth. He was not involved in the atrocity, but he didn't stand up for his victims. He's always regretted it, and this time he was going to make amends. A few minutes later, my foster dad was in the warehouse, brought the girl out. He was thought to have succeeded in that negotiation. Only the girl walked in front. How slow it is to walk. And then suddenly the girl disappeared. She's a mental illusion invented by her adoptive father. On the other side, boys and girls has escaped through the back door, into the jungle. The priest appeared in the process of escape. He failed to catch both men, but he caught the boy's puppy. The priest tried to drown it on the spot. The boy swam past desperately, but not against the current, and just watch the dog die. Wait until they're safe. The boy hit himself. He doesn't want to see any more girls. Drown it on the spot. The boy swam past desperately, but not against the current, and just watch the dog die. Wait until they're safe. The boy hit himself. He doesn't want to see any more girls. A boy in the worst of times. He didn't want to open his heart. When the girl found him, she saw the boy with a memory, made up a vision of a dog, staring at the little figure that was never to be seen. The boy shed a lot of tears. No matter when, there is always a distance between people, even the ones closest to you, because people always inadvertently hurt each other, but is often the guardian of small animals. Give people a precious sense of security. On this day, the boy lost his best friend. He's strong. Keep on with the girl. The two have finally arrived in the first wave of Earth migration. The remains of the ship. As soon as they find the beacon on the ship, they can send a message to headquarters. When the two men came to the control room, unfortunately, the antenna at the top of the tower is disconnected. Have to climb up and fix it. The boy can go, but he didn't want the girl to leave. It was the first time he had fallen in love with a girl. After much deliberation, he decided not to be selfish. Go help her. So he risked his life to climb the tower. From afar, the mayor's troops arrived. The girl was also attacked by a priest in the control room. The minister's dark thoughts enveloped him like flames. In the struggle, the girl heard his darkest secret. Turns out he was involved in the murder of those women, because he couldn't stand his own noise. The noise of thought made him deaf to God's instructions. Then the fire into the devil. Become the devil. Just then, in the minister's mind, and then he jumps out of himself, screaming that he was a sinner, begging the girl to wash his soul. It was the last vestige of the clergyman's conscience. The girl lit the fire, and set the priest on fire. He was baptized by fire. Wait for the girl to calm down. She looked at the screen. The tower has returned to normal. Looks like the brave boy fixed the antenna. She suddenly missed him, even if they just met, even if they were apart for a while, even if she was convinced men are no good. She wanted to know where the boy was now. The film is called Chaos Walking, under the code of science fiction, hiding the discussion of human nature. When a woman can see a man's thoughts, must bring fear on both sides. Women are afraid of some of a man's thoughts. Men are more afraid of women, because their dark side has been exposed. Their weaknesses have also been exposed. Fear can lead to unprovoked hatred. People are always afraid of being hurt. Hurt people first, but then again, everyone is bound to have complex and contradictory ideas. Like that boy. Before he made every decision, is going to be a lot harder. There might even be some dirty thinking. Even he himself is getting a little guilty, but the boy never did anything to hurt the girl. Every move he made was watching over her. The boy often scolded himself in his mind for not being a man. But you look at him. He's a real man. To tell whether a soul is noble or despicable, it's not what he said, or what he thought, it's what he did. Human nature is inherently complex. May we see the truth. May we know the right from the wrong. Want to know the whole story? Hoping to make you think. It's worth seeing.